let's address the why. Why was Black Friday not what we envisioned? And I know, Kiko, you kind of had minimal to no expectations for this. But if you kind of put yourself in the shoes of people that were expecting kind of massive discounts, why do you think there were not? Like, what do you think was the strategy here? What the mindset behind these companies?
If you ask me to predict what is going through companies' heads at this point, I have no idea. I really have no idea
Right.
because some of the things that companies are doing and have done are just literally mind-boggling. And from, I understand they're still trying to, not trying to do an economics lessons by any means, but like a lot of people are cutting across the board, laying off workers, things like that. So they have to get their bottom line under control. So maybe that the last thing that they're thinking about is taking more loss on inventory. But then Carlos talked about, the depreciating assets and taxes and stuff. I'm not smart enough to understand all the backwards workings on some of that stuff, and I'm never going to claim that I am. But why was it not what we envisioned? I think it's like any type of thing that we start when we have relationships or when we have expectations on movies and things like that, is that you hype it up to unrealistic, and then when it doesn't meet or exceed those expectations, it's a fail. Because a lot of people would be like, okay, cool, 30% off. I'm happy to get that, but it's not what we wanted, essentially. I go all the way back to Multiverse of Madness and all the way back to No Way Home and even Endgame to a degree, is that there was all this hype about all these things that were going to happen. And then when it didn't translate on screen the way they wanted it to be, everyone got butthurt about that. And they're like, oh, it's dead. MCU's dead, essentially, because, we had wrote all these fan theories essentially of the way it was going to be. And then I know when John Krasinski was cast as Reed Richards and then he died, they're like, fuck it. I hate the MCU. They don't know what they're doing, blah, 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 blah. Same thing with Star Wars. They're like, oh, here comes Book of Boba Fett. Here comes Kenobi. And we had these lofty expectations. This is going to renew the franchise. And then it just didn't fit our fan fiction and people got upset about it. So I know we just turned this into like a pop culture lesson about like movies and TV shows, but I think it's the same thing. When you have unrealistic expectations, when those expectations actually come out and they're a little bit below, it's considered a fail. We're such a culture that it's either all or nothing, black and white. There's no middle ground. So unless you're walking around, with the biggest smile on your face, it's a frown. There's no in between. And so I think that's kind of part of it.
Yeah. And it's interesting, Kiko, but even some things you would think would make sense. Like I'm looking at Big Bad Toy Store, right? They didn't even discount the Winter Soldier from Falcon and Winter Soldier. Like that, like
I actually like that figure.
Yeah, so. I'm sure people do, but it's like it's going for very cheap right now. It's extremely available. But Carlos, fill us in, bro. What are your thoughts on why is this not what we envisioned?
I don't know, man. It's kind of I'm kind of even surprised at what's been going on, just because it feels like with this sale, like I just don't understand their mindset of, let me discount things at 30% off on a regular day, but on a big day that we can actually move stuff around, we're not going to discount it at all. So that was kind of the big, honestly, the big surprise. And yeah, I mean, obviously I was wrong, but all the signs were there, So I'm really disappointed, like, because I did have expectations, because it was just like common sense, right? Like if we're discounting things at 30% off on a regular day, but we're not going to do anything else for Black Friday, then I just don't understand it. I just don't understand their approach. And yeah, I mean, it's just kind of obviously not what I envisioned. I envisioned a lot more. I envisioned the Tumblr to be discounted. I mean, it's discounted everywhere. Even Alter Ego starting to discount it, but Sideshow won't. Pop Culture didn't even do a Black Friday sale, and they do one every single year. So, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I think so, man. I think it just defies logic and explanation, because Alter Ego was listing this Batmobile for like what, $550. So was Comic Concepts for a long period of time. This thing was heavily discounted, and they couldn't even move it then. I know Josh I think he still has some, last I checked, right? And he's been discounting it for a while. And Sideshow chooses on Black Friday to not even discount it at all. Like it's very interesting. So. Again, at risk of coming across too entitled, it's not that I necessarily was even going to buy the Tumblr, but I'm just surprised. I'm just surprised that, like, maybe it's too much of a loss. People I see dropping that in the comments, like maybe they can only discount it so much and they don't want to take too much of an L. But I get that. But then it's just gonna sit. I don't know what else to say other than that. Like
How
you
long
can either,
ago was it that we started the massive discounts? Like, was it like 2-3 months ago? Like when we started doing the 30%?
well, I mean, Toys
off
Wonderland's
and
been doing
such?
it for over a year, probably.
It was an October. Riley mentioned even like in our chat, like
Yeah.
October deals were better than now.
Yeah, you mean October of last year?
No, this year.
Oh, October of this year. Yeah.
Yeah. Just October.
Yeah. Well, I mean, dude, literally just a day ago, the Mark V was 25% off. That's better than what they're giving us today. I mean, and today's actually Black Friday. So you would think you would lead with your best foot forward today. But I'm just a bit surprised is all. But I don't know. I guess maybe the explanation is we don't have one. Like,
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Right. I mean, like, because it doesn't really, I mean, we're not on the inside of their analytics and their business, but it doesn't really seem to make much
It's
sense.
different because no one is doing it, though. That's
right.
the thing.
No one is doing it. Not even Toys
different
Wonderland, Kiko.
Yeah, it'd be different if one
Wonderland.
person wasn't. It'd be like, oh, maybe they just didn't want to. But like, there is something to say that no one is doing anything. That I think is a little bit concerning. Not concerning, but
and I mean, like the big companies like Best Buy, Amazon, Target, they're doing it. They're doing stuff like this. But as far as collecting goes, like pop culture, I mean, Star Wars Autograph Universe is doing a 10% off sale. That's nice. That's kind of cool. That's at least something, right? Because usually, Kiko, even for most of these, like Sideshow will do like, oh, it's June 22nd. It's 10% off everything in stock. They didn't even do that. Like, that's like, dude, the sales they do throughout the year, Geeksgiving was better than this. Like,
bro, I think the biggest problem is even like, dude, Pop Culture 2 months ago said, here's 25% off on top of rated discounting.
Yep.
Cool. And today, nothing at all. I'm like, how does that make sense? Every year they do a Black Friday sale, but this year they did nothing. It's like, it's either like they all heard the streams and they're like, fuck you guys, or, right?
Fuck
or
you and your 40% off Tumblr.
Yeah, or they're literally waiting for Cyber Monday. But at this point, I can't even say anything now. It's like, hey,
Well, I love too, Carlos, how they marketed our biggest sale of the year. No, it's not. It's not
though. Like it's not.
It's not their biggest sale of the year.
That's fine though. They can keep doing what they're doing. I mean, in KG Hobby has some good ones. Like for example, Rescue on KG Hobby is $191.
Yep.
$191, and you can still add that discount on top of it. And shipping is gonna be like what, $2 something. Why would I buy Rescue from fucking Sideshow when I can just buy it from KG Hobby?
Right.
Because most people have never heard of KG Hobby. They haven't.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point.
Right.
The people Kiko, who would think that Hot Toys and Sideshow are the same thing. Just
correct.
Everyday collector who doesn't watch a stream. They don't. They're not really that in tune with it. They think that they're the same thing. So, but yeah, man, it's super interesting. I'm not sure what else more to say about it besides that. I guess we'll just wait for Christmas. Sideshow's gonna have one in Christmas, and we'll see. Like you said, Kiko, maybe Cyber Monday. They give us something there, but very, very interesting.